Hello, today is February 28th, 2015. I'm Jeffrey Tennant. As usual, let's go over the calls I made Thursday night. The first call was that the most common occurrence after Thursday's pattern was a gap out of the range. That didn't happen. I said the next most common occurrence was that we closed relatively unchanged. Well, we closed down 0.30% after trading in a narrow range all day long. So I think that was pretty much the right idea. We had a few price targets. I had 2112.71. The actual high was 2112.74. That satisfies the target. In my book, The MeJT System, the consequences of a direct hit like this are discussed. It gives you a target to shoot for on the downside, and that was satisfied before the end of the day. I've also been waiting for this 2103.10 target since the 23rd of this month. We came awfully close. It likes to tease me. 0.65 is close, but it's not close enough, and I still think that should print. There's a new target from the MeJT system of 2172.12. I'm suspicious it might not work. Let's not forget that when you are near trend extremes, MeJT likes to leave a failed target. Well, during the day, early on, MeJT said that lower prices should print. It gave this as the target, and that was hit later in the day. Even though lower prices were forecast, it also said prices should retrace to this level, which they did. Here's where the lower target was hit. Note support and resistance at that price. Later on, the market rallied. MeJT said it was a false move, said prices would return to the upper yellow line, which they did. The software identified the target from yesterday. It now says the drop is a false move, and it gives a target of 2110.72. Now, why am I suspicious that might not work? This was 9 trading days in a row where the market started off with a drop. For 9 days in a row, it attempted a recovery, but for the first time, the recovery attempt failed. To me, this is the bulls giving up the ghost, as long as it's not reversed early Monday. What makes it really negative is that shortly after hitting a new all-time high, we've now retraced below all these multiple highs, and all we have to do is undercut these lows and maintain that to have a pretty sizable drop, probably at least down to this price in the 2080s. It's not helpful if one examines the action in the futures market. The market's dropping all day long from the middle of the day, undercuts the early morning low, and then right when the market closes, here's the market close, the volume zooms up and the market stages a rally. It's pretty unlikely big money was waiting until liquidity dried up to buy. This to me is a sign of make that either public optimism or short covering, and if the interpretation is right, we should gap below that low when we open, or at least take it out soon after the open. As far as the longer term picture is concerned, we had a pretty negative picture at year end. We had a negative last week of the year. We had a January which couldn't top the December high. So from that perspective, a rally to new highs this month is not bad. it really takes away a lot of the negative implications of the year-end signals. There is a problem though. DeMark's TD lines don't always work when the 2 points are this close together, but they usually do, and if so, this breakout over that line is not valid, and we should return at least to this line in the 2080s. There are 3 MeJT failed targets on the way up, 3 failed targets in the month. It can happen, but they typically fail at some time. Don't forget, we've been averaging about 3 failed targets in the whole year. And also we have a gap at this 1972.56, and at some point that gap should fill, although it doesn't really have to fill anytime soon. So it's going to be interesting to see how much of a decline, if any, we can maintain here. Monday's call, we have a higher target. I think if it's going to print, we will either gap up sharply, ideally over this high, or we will gap down at the open and reverse promptly. Absent either of those two things happening, I expect this to fail, and it could fail in a big way if, as I suspect, we have a gap down Monday. If that were to happen, I think, and if it were to be maintained into the close, I think we could have a significant retracement here, and that's today's call.